He's got to go through a lot now. He's got to get prepared for college.
Aquanetta knows that if Ben is to reach his full potential, she needs expert help for him. Someone who understands his world. There's perhaps only one person Ben might listen to.
We have fence, we have bushes.
Dan Kish is a unique mobility instructor. Like Ben, he lost his eyes to cancer as a baby. He also discovered clicking as a child. Unlike Ben, he's perfected a mobility system that combines echolocation with a cane. He has Ben's no limits philosophy too, taking students hiking and mountain biking. For Dan Kish, the blind leading the blind is a campaigning vision.
I don't know.
Ben and his mum enjoy a very close relationship, but they don't agree on the issue of mobility training.
Yeah, it goes more slanted.
Aquanetta thinks the dream of an independent life at college for Ben may be impossible unless he learns advanced skills from Dan Kish.
Okay, now go. Being able to meet someone that's been on this earth longer than Ben, that's doing what he does, and to get more of an understanding of what he does, I think that will be just a wonderful experience for Ben and myself. Ben may be able to use what Daniel gives him to further his own abilities.
But Ben is very resistant to the idea that Dan has anything to teach him.
I think that meeting Daniel Kish wouldn't be all that great anyway, even if I did or didn't, because he put some of his dependence in the cane. I use all echolocation. Never will you ever see me holding a cane.
He's just a kid. I don't think that he quite understands just yet, but I think once he meets him, I think it's gonna change his idea of what it's gonna be.
I don't know. We'll see.
Aquanetta is dropping Ben into his worst nightmare. Waiting at Dan Kish's house is a room full of blind people with canes.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
It's very nice to meet you, too. So, Mr. Kish, what do? You keep your canes as a souvenir?
I don't know how I ended up with
Oh, my
Take
gosh.
a look at all these.
It's a room full of blind guys,
I
man. Do you guys mind if I ask, were you born blind?
No, I became blind at the age of 14.
At the age of 14,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened?
Basically, over 4 months, went from like 20/20 vision to nothing.
Because I do have...
Aquanetta's making the effort to get to know Dan and his team, but Ben's decided to opt out.
And so I try to help students develop the ability to be able to pretty much tackle any situation.
I want him to experience the world the best that he can and to see the best that he can and whatever it takes to see.
I'm not going to test you. I'm not going to... I will stretch you, okay, just because I think that you're ready for some pretty advanced stuff. When I hike, for example, I'm using a cane in one hand and I'm using a hiking stick in the other, which is actually something...
Why are you laughing?
A cane in one hand, a hiking stick in the other.
Oh, yeah.
As teenagers, Hector, Brian and Juan were all trained by Dan. Now it's Ben's turn. It's their job to make it fun.
Here we are today taking a little echolocation.
We out today, about to echolocate.
Car. Tree.
Just to let you know.
Over the next 2 days, Dan and his team will be offering the benefit of their experience to Ben. Dan will show Ben how he stays out of danger in traffic, negotiates unfamiliar places, even a rocky mountain trail. First, Dan must appraise just how advanced Ben really is.
So it's like bushes and stuff.
It's what you think.
A wall?
It's a wall.
A pole, a tree.
I like the way you focus, Ben. A lot of times when I'm working with a student, I'll say, look at this, and they'll say, look at what? And you tend to be more like, oh, that? Now, what's very impressive here is that in terms of strictly the use of echolocation, he's probably one of the finest, if not the finest, that I've ever come across.
Ben is the best self-taught echolocator in the world. Everything he's ever been told about that is true, and that's a problem.
I'm a pro at this, Dan. It's gonna be impossible for me to be one of your students, man.
Anyone who says, I have nothing to learn, has severely limited themselves in terms of opportunities for doing more and being more and becoming more.
Dan meets Ben's challenge head-on. He takes him straight out of his comfort zone onto a busy main road.
I'm gonna let you know now, I don't play with cars, so I ain't walking in the middle of this street.
The gulf between Ben's lack of confidence with cars and Dan's faith in his white cane nearly gets Dan run over.
Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead!
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, good grief.
Oh my gosh! Goodness gracious, y'all.
Dan has experience of traveling quickly and safely all over the world, alone. Just the sort of independence he wants to teach Ben.
He is a wannabe good traveler. He is literally functioning at about half or less of what I would say his capacity would be or should be.
Dan chose this street because it is particularly challenging for blind travelers. If you are blind, real danger is only a footstep away.
I knew I was going to hit that. I knew it. It happens to me every...
No one is surprised. This sort of thing happens a lot. Dan's first-class echolocation skills fail him. Even the cane cannot save him. And some encounters are potentially fatal. To a blind person without a cane, this is a death trap. A click cannot bounce back from a hole. So to Ben, who relies solely on echolocation, it's invisible.
I ain't gonna touch it.
Okay. I just
Dan wants to show Ben that echolocation has a fatal flaw. Ben cannot see the danger.
Anyhow, as you know, my hands is right here. My hands are right here. I don't know, metal. Something you could step over, like a, I don't know, could be like a curb, train track.
Okay, something you just sort of step over.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that the best locator in the world would have no better than a 10% chance of detecting this if they didn't know it was already here. Take a look.
Oh, Jesus, what's down there?
Exactly. I mean, you only have to be killed once.
Oh, it's just a hole.
It's just a hole.
Let me see. Unless I...
Ben seems unwilling to accept Dan's lesson that echolocation alone won't protect him from this potential death trap. When they move on to the next task, their relationship hits rock bottom when Ben gets lost.
You want me to tell you how to get back? Do you want me to guide you back?
It's a battle of wills.
Oh, Jesus, this is getting seriously annoying.
Ben Underwood and Dan Kish are both completely blind. Dan is trying to teach 14-year-old Ben extra skills to make him more independent. They both have superb echolocation, but Ben calls Dan's white cane a handicap device. Ben has a lot to learn. He just doesn't know it.
How do we get out of here?
Well, this is not a lesson to me.
Dan wants Ben to build a mental map of the park. Ben needs to know exactly where he is in a strange place. It's a daily challenge for a blind person traveling on their own. It takes strategic thought and self-discipline. But that's no fun, and Ben is skiving. After the game, Dan asks Ben to walk back to the park entrance. Ben sets off. in completely the wrong direction.
You want to head back?
Yeah.
The lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
Distracted by the basketball, he's forgotten the mental map he was supposed to be building, and he's lost. Ben is far less self-sufficient than he could be.
Well, I'm following the sound of the cars over there, so
Okay. What do you think is over there?
I don't know. I hear music and cars. Oh, Jesus, this is getting seriously annoying.